My name is John Kelleher. I am in-house counsel for Unity One Incorporated Securities and Investigations. I'm also an investigative analysis consultant for the company. I formerly worked as chief of the fraud unit for the Attorney General's office, so I have a lot of experience working with fraud cases and particularly white-collar fraud in general, but Unity One does a wide variety of cases, and the white-collar fraud is just one element of what we do. What is a private investigator? A private investigator, first of all and foremost, is a licensed professional who has a lot of times passed testing, gone through law enforcement academies and military academies. Everyone that works at Unity One is either former law enforcement or military. The other thing is, in addition to that means they're competent, they carry firearms, they've conducted criminal investigations, they've conducted civil investigations. In addition to that, and what distinguishes a private investigator from just an untrained, unskilled person is they're professional evidence gatherers. Our investigators all know, they've been trained by FBI, law enforcement, local law enforcement, and military on professional evidence collection, compilation, how to present and package a case if it has to go to court or trial. If it's a corporate investigation, they do background checks, they do employee theft cases, embezzlement cases, any kind of fraud that a private company or corporation needs investigated. We also do missing persons cases. We do investor due diligence cases. A lot of times people that are looking to invest their money, they're not exactly sure how secure either the investment and or the company or person pitching the investment is. And our company is hired, we can go globally, domestically and internationally, and we will do a complete background investigation and verify all of the claims being made by the person pitching the investment, so that you know when you're deciding to make that investment that it's a wise choice, or you know whether not to. If on the other hand you do invest and fraud occurs, we're also skilled and very experienced in locating and retrieving assets, financial assets. We've worked with local law enforcement after the end of our investigations on getting cases prosecuted criminally, both locally, federally, and at the state level. All of us have worked on a wide variety of law enforcement task forces. I've worked on FBI task forces. I've worked on state task forces with local, state, county, and municipal law enforcement. So we have connections throughout the law enforcement community in the state of Nevada and also nationally. So one of the things you're getting when you hire Unity One investigators, first of all, you're getting experienced investigators. You're getting very highly skilled and highly trained investigators. And you're getting investigators that know not only how to collect the evidence, but how to package it in a way that you can actually do something with it. That's one of the reasons that's one of the things that you can make sure if you're spending money on hiring a private investigator, that your money's well spent. Another thing that investigators are skilled at is interviewing witnesses. There's many ways to obtain information, but a lot of times not only knowing what to ask, but knowing when to ask it and when not to ask it is a skill that only comes with experience. Our investigators are seasoned, experienced with knowing how to do that. We also specialize in covert operations and evidence gathering. We do counterintelligence. We can do make sure that your room, there's no electronic surveillance going on. If you have a big meeting coming on with your corporation, your company, and you want to make sure no one's eavesdropping for corporate fraud or theft, we can make sure that the room is electronically cleared before you have the meeting. Or if you believe you're being surveilled or someone is possibly tailing you, our company has experts that are trained in counter surveillance. We can also conduct surveillance if you are a defendant in a criminal action and you need investigations done to protect you and prepare you for court. We can go and examine the witnesses that the prosecution has on your behalf. We can also collect new evidence on your behalf. We can do surveillance. We can locate people. So a wide variety of benefits you get from hiring private investigators, and especially Unity One. I think throughout the Clark County Valley, our team of investigators is probably one of the most skilled and top-notch you're going to find in Clark County. A criminal defense investigator typically is hired when someone is being charged with a crime, and the only evidence that's submitted to the court in many cases is the evidence that the prosecution submits. Many times defendants either don't have the means, the assets, or they're just unaware that they're able to hire a private investigator to obtain evidence and to test evidence on their behalf. What we can do if you're a criminal defendant and there's a case filed against you, we can collect evidence that the prosecution either missed or for whatever reason did not include in its case that may exonerate you. We can also gather new evidence that may have not been uncovered by the state or the county's prosecution, and a lot of times that can be the turning point in a conviction or an acquittal. The one thing about our investigators is all of us are prior law enforcement trained, and we've all worked for law enforcement agencies before. So we not only know how the prosecution side works, but we also know what's needed to defend a case. And we can save money and time because of our experience. We know what to look for and how to obtain it, and we won't spin in circles where someone with less experience or less skills and less contacts, quite frankly, would have a harder time obtaining that information. So while we're, from a cost analysis basis, if you're looking at defending a case, hiring a private investigator, while it is an initial outset of funds, in the long run will save you time and a lot of worry because you know you're going to go to court with a solid defense. Our investigators all know Fourth Amendment search and seizure law. They're all court experienced. They've all testified in court before. And it's really like it's going into trial with a level of security that you wouldn't have otherwise. We work with the court system. If you are an indigent defendant and you have the public defender assigned, a lot of times the public defender's office can retain us to work for you on your behalf, and the county or state will pay for the cost of your investigation. So we encourage people, if they do have a criminal case, that they don't hesitate to at least contact us and see if there's something we can do to help. And even if you decide not to hire us, a lot of times we can give you suggestions that may point you in the right direction to things that could help you. The difference between criminal and civil is that in a civil context, you're dealing with, in most instances, the recovery of money. But in a criminal context, you're dealing with someone's freedom. And not hiring a private investigator a lot of times can be the difference between walking home from court free at the end of the court hearing or going to jail with handcuffs on. So it's one of the wisest investments you'll probably make. Should I hire a private investigator? My response to that would be, can you afford not to? No matter what type of case you may have, whether it's civil, whether it's criminal, whether it's corporate, whether it's private, family matter, hiring a private investigator will be the difference between obtaining the evidence you need to get the outcome that you're seeking or not. We know what rocks to look under. We know we're able to sort through large volumes of evidence, financial documents, bank transactions, and we can cull from that the information that's pertinent and relevant and that is actually useful in a case, and we're able to advise you and discard evidence that really is irrelevant and just a time waster. In a court context, inadmissible evidence is no evidence at all. So you have to make sure that the evidence you obtain was obtained legally, was obtained correctly, and was obtained and packaged in a way that you can use it. So one of the reasons to hire us at Unity One is that on all those areas, obtaining evidence, collation and presentation of evidence, and evidence analysis, we have a top team of experts in all those areas, and we're able to provide resources, information, and advice for whatever your investigative needs may be.